You know, when I look at the K-pop scene and the pandemonium they cause, I'm always reminded of New Kids on the Block because in the early 90s, it was very similar if not more chaotic. Anyway, New Kids on the Block is a boy band that rose in the late 80s and early 90s thanks to their songs and boyish good looks. So without further ado, these are...
Let's hear it for the New Kids on the Block.
Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. Our story of New Kids began in Boston, Massachusetts with Maurice Starr. In 1982, he awarded New Edition with a record contract. They recorded Candy Girl. Candy Girl went to #1 on the R&B charts. They hit the road, and at the end, they fell out after Streetwise gave the group a check for $1.87. Maurice was temporarily devastated by the move, but he wanted to create another group. This time, instead of looking for black kids in Boston, he wanted to look for Caucasian kids from Boston. He first discovered Donnie Wahlberg. After he rapped for him once and danced, Maurice decided to build his new group around him. Donnie's first recruit was his friend Danny Wood, who was also a dancer. Donnie also recruited his younger brother Mark Wahlberg to join. Jordan Knight was the next piece of the puzzle, and not wanting to be left out, his older brother Jonathan Knight joined in as well. They would call the group Nanook, which was a random name thought of by Starr. But Mark would leave the group to venture in quote-unquote bad boy activities. He would later form the Funky Bunch before venturing into a successful career in Hollywood. But Maurice needed to find a replacement to make his lineup complete. He wanted a young white kid that sounded like Michael Jackson. Enter Joey McIntyre, who was from a different side of Boston. The original members were from the Dorchester side, while Joey represented the Jamaican Plain portion of the city. When he joined the group, he wished he didn't. The 4 other members already had a bond and were much older than Joey. He struggled to mesh with the group. He contemplated quitting, but after a conversation with Donnie, he told Joey he's a big part of the group, so he stayed. Between the years 1984 and 1985, the boys performed any and everywhere they could. They performed at retirement homes, jails. It was said they had to throw cigarettes to inmates to win them over, talent shows, carnivals, and other social gatherings. One incident, they performed at a local festival. The crowd was jeering and started to throw objects at the group. Danny suffered a cut after someone threw a record at him. But the group didn't back down and continued to perform, gaining respect from the crowd. Maurice then wanted to find a major record label for Nanook to sign. He pitched the group as the White New Edition, but no one wanted to sign them. Columbia decided to give them a shot on 2 conditions. Number 1, they'll have to sign with their black division and market to the African American crowd. 2, the name Nanook had to go. While scouting for new names, Donnie wrote a rap called New Kids on the Block, and that song would later be featured on their debut album, and the name stuck. In 1986, their debut album was released, majority of it being produced and written by Maurice Starr. They released 2 singles, Be My Girl and Stop It Girl, but both songs failed to crack the Hot 100 and only became local hits. They still decided to tour to gain an audience, but Columbia considered dropping the group. But after Maurice and an A&R from the label begged them to give another chance, Columbia conceded. In 1988, they released their second album called Hangin Tough. The lead-off single was Please Don't Go Girl, led by Joey. But when the video was released, the group once again was marketed to the black crowd, and the video was instead shipped to BET. It looked like it was going to be a repeat of the first album, and the group could be dropped. Then, a Florida pop station played the song, and the rest was history. Other stations around the country started to request the song, and after the success of Please Don't Go Girl, Maurice booked the group to open for teen singer and close ally Tiffany. Fun fact, she would have a fling with Jonathan. But the New Kids mania was rolling and it wasn't going to stop. Their second single was You Got It, The Right Stuff, and that song reached the top 5 on the Hot 100 as the video was shipped to MTV and placed on heavy rotation.
You got the right stuff, baby.
It would be followed by the ballad I'll Be Loving You Forever, and that song became the group's first #1 hit on the Hot 100. Later that summer, they toured with Tiffany again, but this time they were the headline act. The group then released another single called Hangin' Tough. Led by Donnie, he pitched a song to sell to the Boston Celtics, aka the greatest basketball team in America, to make it their unofficial fight song, but the song instead became their second #1 hit. New Kids' Hangin' Tough album went 8 times platinum. Around the same time, the label reshipped their first album and released the Delphonics cover Didn't I Blow Your Mind, and that song peaked at #8 on the Hot 100, and that pushed their debut album to triple platinum. In September 1989, the group released a Christmas album called Merry Merry Christmas. The lead-off single was This One's for the Children, and that peaked at #7 on the Hot 100. Proceeds of the song was donated to the United Cerebral Palsy.
This one's for the children.
Later that year, the group booked an appearance on the Arsenio Hall show, but John was a no-show. For whatever reason, despite appearing on Arsenio before, John couldn't muster the strength to do the show. He was harboring a secret that would cause him to have a panic attack. In 1990, New Kids released their next album called Step by Step. Headlined by the title track, the song became their third #1 single and the group's signature tune, as it also reached the top 10 in various countries. They also released Tonight, which also peaked in the top 10. And Let's Try It Again, as Step by Step went triple platinum. To promote, they embarked on a 2-year Magic Summer tour around the world. Merchandise was also kicking in with lunchboxes, comic books, t-shirts, and even a Saturday morning cartoon of the same name. The group became the highest earning act of 1990, beating out heavyweights like Michael Jackson and Madonna. In 1991, New Kids on the Block performed at the halftime show for Super Bowl, becoming the first pop acts to do a halftime show. But bad behavior was beginning to lurk. That same year, Donnie was arrested in Louisville for arson. Story goes, the group was stuck in their hotel rooms and Donnie got bored. He grabbed a hotel fire extinguisher and started to use it. But authorities said he and Danny invited fans to their room for a wild party, poured vodka in the hallway, lit it on fire, and used the extinguisher to take out the flames. If convicted, he would face 20 years, but the charges were reduced to a misdemeanor. As the tour continues, tension amongst the group was beginning to face. One incident, Joey and Donnie had an onstage argument with both men started to oversing each other. Both men stormed off stage, leaving the audience and the rest of the group waiting. Luckily, the two made up and the show continued. But the Magic Summer Tour would take a tragic turn. In Seoul, South Korea, with the tour nearing its end, the band was set to perform at the Olympic Gymnastic Arena. New Kids Mania was out of control, which led to a crowd surge and a number of injuries took place as the group left the venue. Promoters told the boys they could not leave the country until they do the show. They did the show under heavy armed military guards, and it will be revealed that the venue was over capacity by 3,000 people. 30 people were injured in the stampede, and one 18-year-old fan lost her life because of it. While fans appreciated their music, critics didn't. They called him out as lightweight and Maurice Starr's little puppets who can't sing. Donnie did not take the criticisms well and would lash out to defend the group. As the group was getting older, they felt like the New Kids name no longer matched their image, so they rebranded themselves as NKOTB. They will also fire their manager Maurice Starr for various reasons. In 1992, they released a single called If You Go Away, and that peaked at number 16 on the Hot 100. But in the wake of the Milli Vanilli lip-syncing scandal, critics and fans believed that the group didn't sing on their records. The group admits to using backing vocals on stage, but record on their actual recordings. While in the middle of touring, they appeared on Arsenio to address the allegations and performed If You Go Away Girl live. And this segues us into 1994, where NKOTB released Face the Music. While their first 3 major albums featured themes of bubblegum pop, this one shifted into modern R&B and hip-hop themes. Outside of If You Go Away, the group released Dirty Dog. Their video was banned in Canada due to sexual undertones that was a departure of their teenage days. The song didn't perform well in the charts as it only peaked at number 66 on the Hot 100. As for the album, it was a critical success but not a commercial success, as their fans moved on to grunge and gangsta rap. In 1994, the group went to London to promote the album, but John once again began to no-show due to his panic anxiety. His history of no-showing was increasing because of this. He decided to have a meeting with the group, saying he didn't want to do the promo and desired to go home. To relieve the suffering, the group held a vote to kick him out. Only Jordan didn't vote for him, but majority rules. The group masqueraded John's departure by saying he had a terrible horse accident and went home to recover. The remaining members went on tour, but they could only book nightclubs and small theaters, a massive drop-off from the stadiums and arenas that they're used to. After 2 months of touring, the desire to go on wasn't there, so they canceled the remainder of the tour. Shortly after, NKOTB announced their disbandment. After the breakup, the members embarked on their own careers. Donnie maintained a low profile that focused on his family, and he's an advocate for breast cancer in homage to his mother who passed from the disease. Donnie got involved in Hollywood, with his first role being in Bullet, which starred Mel Gibson and Tupac. He also appeared in the Saw franchises, but his most notable works involved television with Blue Bloods. Jordan will embark on a solo career. He released a self-titled solo album in 1999, and that went gold thanks to the top 10 hit Give It To You, produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and written by an unknown at the time, Robin Thicke. Joey will also embark on a solo career, releasing the album Stay the Same in 1999, and that went gold thanks to the top 10 ballad Stay the Same. John decided to get involved in real estate and flipping houses. Like Donnie, he also kept a low profile until 2001 when he appeared on Oprah alongside his brother to discuss his panic anxiety. During New Kids in activity, there were many efforts in reuniting the band. In 1999, the group was supposed to reunite at the MTV VMAs, but Jonathan declined and that fell through. Next was in 2004 on the VH1 show Bands Reunited. The Knight brothers agreed, but the rest of the members didn't, as the only way to reunite was permanently. Then, in 2007, Donnie was given an instrumental to a beat and immediately thought of New Kids on the Block. Remember, the band has not recorded any music since 1993. Time has passed, and in 2008, New Kids on the Block confirmed their reunion and performed at the Today Show. Shortly after, VH1 did a behind the music on the group, which showcased their first concert at TD Garden. In August 2008, the group released their first album in 14 years called The Block. Songs included Summertime,
About you in the summertime, and all the good times we had, baby,
and Single as the album went gold. In the meantime, John was still going through his panic anxiety, but it amped up to a new level when an ex threatened to air him out. So John decided to beat him to the punch, and in 2009, John decided to come out as gay. He got full support from his bandmates, close colleagues, and fans. Coming out was a big relief for him, and his panic anxiety decreased significantly. In 2011, New Kids on the Block teamed up with Backstreet Boys and formed NKOTB. Their tour was a massive success, grossing over $40 million over 51 shows. In 2014, the group got their star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. New Kids have since balanced out group success and individual success. Donnie Wahlberg got involved in television, Blue Bloods was already mentioned, and his own reality show, Wahlburgers, which showcased his restaurant chain. During the show's run, it showed Donnie marrying former MTV personality Jenny McCarthy, and that spun off to Donnie Loves Jenny reality show. Donnie also made an appearance on The Masked Singer as Cluedo and surprised his wife, who's currently a panelist on the show. Jordan released his second, third if you don't count his New Kids on the Block recordings in 2004, called Unfinished. In 2014, he teamed up with Nick Carter on the album Nick and Night. In 2013, Joey participated in the Boston Marathon to raise awareness on Alzheimer's, which claimed his mother's life the next year. He clocked in at 3 hours and 57 minutes, but sometime after finishing, the Boston bombing incident took place where 3 people died and 281 was injured. Joey wasn't harmed in the incident. The next year, he and Donnie ran the marathon, and Donnie clocked in at 3 hours and 50 minutes. In 2016, alongside his fiancée, Jonathan participated on the Amazing Race 26, but finished 9th. In 2022, he became the host of the HGTV show Farmhouse Fixer, and that same year, he quietly married his fiancée, Harley Rodriguez. In 2021, New Kids on the Block performed at the AMAs as the group shared the stage with fellow Boston group New Edition for the first time. Today, New Kids on the Block tours regularly and dabble with their own cruise series. While New Edition set the standard for boy bands, New Kids took it to a whole new level, and the group also taught us that there's a little Jonathan in us. And that concludes the story of New Kids on the Block. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.